Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. This is Rabbi Simon. And so today we're going to look at a few things which may be helpful to us regarding what Master Yeshua, Jesus said. And before that, I think I put out something about the President Trump about 2 months ago, and just to let you know that is going to come to pass not too long after today. Okay, so I won't say any more than that. So moving on, now I want to look at some important words, but also before I look at important words, I want to give you some pointers and some tips. And these tips are as such. See, what happens is when we have good news inside of us, like we're doing something, maybe you bought a house, maybe you got a new job, maybe something else good happened for you, and what happens is that we instantly want to tell everybody. And the opposite of that is when you have negative news or when you feel negativity, you want to suppress it and you want to hide it from everybody. Like if you're feeling down or if you're feeling negative about someone else, and then you hide it, you suppress it. So here I've spoken about this before, and I think I need to speak again to help you. When you have good news, make a habit in your family circles, especially I'm talking about your families and people around you. Suppress it. Don't tell anybody. When you're doing something or when you want to do something, buy a house, get a new job, get a car, or get ahead in something, business, and then that thing starts to happen for you, don't tell anybody. Suppress it. By suppressing that thing, you are multiplying the effect, the power of that by about 111,000 times. If you have negativity, negative news, maybe something's happened out there, talk about it, tell somebody about it. Why? Because if you suppress it, you manipulate it to be more powerful. But if you tell somebody, you weaken it. So same thing, when you have good news, don't tell anybody, otherwise you'll weaken that power. Now, when I say don't tell anybody, of course, you'll tell if you're married, you'll tell your spouse. That's fine, but again, make sure that your spouse doesn't advertise it to every member of the family. You want to keep it as secretive as possible because that will hold power. So please make sure you understand this point. Negativity, you can advertise from the rooftops, diminish its power. Positivity, good things happening to you, hide it. It will multiply its power. This is why Jesus also said, resist not evil. Because what you resist will persist. So, if you hide negativity, you only make it persist in your life because it becomes more powerful. That's why be careful about that. So that's an important point. I wanted to go to Matthew chapter 18. And at one point, there was a question that was asked, and I found it rather interesting that I thought, this is something good to look at. For Matthew 18, my goodness, let me see if I can, let me go back a little bit, scroll back. Matthew chapter 18. Okay, so I'm in the book of Matthew. I'm going to read from the Hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls, 7th edition, which is available at Amazon or Lulu Press. So give me a few minutes and let me just get to the passage, please. Sometimes I have I think I've gone too far. I've gone too far. Let me pull it back. Pressed the wrong key and I went too far. Okay, so we're finally here. So Matthew 18, we have certain disciples that came to Jesus and they asked him a question. The disciples came at the same time to Yeshua saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of Shamaim, in the kingdom of heaven?" And Yeshua called a little child to him and set him in the midst of them and said, "Verily I say to you, except you be converted, you become as little children, you shall not enter the kingdom of Shamaim, the kingdom of heaven." Now, I want to make sure that you understand that there are times when Jesus is speaking colloquially or mystically. There are times he's speaking mystically, symbolically, and there are times he's speaking literally. So the problem is this, that a lot of people, especially Christianity in the past and today, the same thing, they take some of the things for literal and they are not literal. So Jesus is not saying that you can't enter the kingdom of heaven in your, when you pass on this world. He's not saying that, but that's what unfortunately Christians might make of this and turn it into something it's not. What Jesus is saying here is that we're talking about kingdom of heaven, which we are told is within you. So how are you going to get within you? By dying. You can't get within you by dying. So that's something you have to do while you're living, while you're alive. That's the kingdom of heaven is being addressed as your internal world, not the external world. So what Jesus is saying, that in order to enter the internal world, which is a connection to God, in order to be connected to God, this is what Jesus is saying, in order to be connected to God, you have to be like a child. Now, what are the qualities of a child? The qualities of a child are that children, if you tell them something, do something, they won't question you. They won't say, "Why should I do this?" Or "How is this going to happen?" Or "How many times do I need to do this?" They don't do any of that. See, children have a very plain mind. They have a very soft mind, and they don't have any resistances like adults do. They haven't gone through life as adults, they haven't been in the life for 30, 40 years. They haven't seen the problems, they haven't seen the negativities. So they're basically clean. Their hearts are more pure. When the heart is more pure, it means that the heart generates magnetic energy. And it generates magnetic energy 5,000 times more than the brain. The brain generates frequency. The brain is like a tuner. It tunes in frequency, but the heart is the one that has a reach. So he's saying, teaching his disciples, in order to enter the kingdom of Shemaim, kingdom of heaven, you must be like a child, a little child. And he says, "Whoso shall receive one such little child in me, in my name, receives me." Meaning that this is what I say to people who have children. Small children I'm talking about. Small children like they are 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. I say to the people, I say, you've been praying for whatever number of years and nothing happened. Make your child pray. Do the prayer through the child. Why? Because a child's mind is more pure. The child is not interested or asking questions. Well, how's the prayer going to go up? Are angels going to carry it? Is somebody else going to carry it? The children don't have that mentality to ask. But your child's prayer will be heard much faster. Now, I know some of my students have little children, and maybe you should try it. You should try it and place your son or daughter beside you. And, when you're trying to manifest your desire, maybe you want to get a great job. Maybe you want to get a new home. Ask your child to do it. Ask your child to imagine and ask that, tell your child, run this as an exercise. Tell your child, imagine that we're living in a great house. specify bedrooms if you like. Tell your child that imagine that you're living in a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom house. Or if you desire a car, imagine that you're sitting in a new car with your daddy, with your mommy, and we're going someplace. Ask the child to do that. When the child does it and the child runs that imaginative act, he will have much more power to bring it to realization. Same with a job. You can ask the child to imagine that his mom or his dad is doing a job and the job is paying XYZ amount of money and we are buying you nice presents. Imagine that we are doing that. Then see how quickly this child's going to go to work, because when you tell the child that we're going to get you some nice presents, I could tell you that child's going to be visualizing, and his visualization is going to be much more powerful. He can generate much more magnetic power in his heart or her heart than everybody else put together. So this is why I'm going to encourage you today to do that. I have done that with some people here and asked them to use their child to do the prayer. But people don't understand. They are stuck with their religious models. Oh, they have to go and pray. They have to go to some mizah, some shrine or something and go over there and pray. See, people are stuck with that model. They think that they have to do it, but they don't realize that their little child, who is maybe 4 or 5 years of age, they have much more power to bring their desire to effect. So I suggest, highly suggest to you, that if you have a small child, and the child doesn't have to be just 5 years old, even a child is 6 years old, 7 years old can do it too, because when the child is small, up to the age of 7, his mind is very fertile. He can achieve anything. Whatever he puts his mind to, he can achieve it very easily, very fast as well. So you want your child to do that for you. You want to feed that desire to your child. Sit with your child, for 5 minutes a day, maybe twice a day, sit with him and ask that child to do that for you. And the child will just run that scene for you. Because, children, they're going to forget. If you do it today, tomorrow is going to forget. So you're going to have to sit with him and ask him to do it again. And you're going to have to remind that child why you're doing it. What is his or her benefit in this? What will they get out of it? Because children want something out of it. Maybe you give $2 or $5 to your child. Every time he does it, you give him $1. So the child is happy with that. So do that. That is a highly, highly effective technique to bring your desire to pass. So Jesus goes on and says, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receives me. But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it was better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, that he was drowned in the depth of the sea. Moving on, woe to the world because of stumbling blocks, for it is necessary that stumbling blocks come, but woe to that man by whom the stumbling block comes. But if your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut them off and cast them from you. It is better for you to enter into life lame or crippled, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the fire of Gehenna. And if your eyes cause you to stumble, pluck it out and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into Sheol. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say to you that in Shemaim, their Malachim, their angels, do always behold the face of my Abba, which is in Shemaim. For the Son of Man is come to rescue that which was lost. Do you think if a man has 100 sheep, and one of them be gone astray, does he not leave the 99 sheep on the mountains and seeks that which is gone astray? And if so be that he finds it, verily I say to you, he rejoices more of that sheep than of the 99 sheep which went not astray. Even so, it is not the will of your Abba, which is in Shemaim, that one of these little ones should perish. So it is so important to understand that children are so precious, so important that you need to nurture them correctly. And you should not place stumbling blocks before them. And you should not train them the wrong way. Because these children are so precious and they're so powerful. They're so powerful beings that they can actually help you. They can help your situation move on faster than you would think so otherwise. Moreover, if your brother shall trespass against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he shall hear you, you have gained your brother. Basically what Jesus is saying, that if you have something against somebody, it is better that you go and clear it with them, because when you clear stuff between you and your brother, meaning any relative, any friends, then it increases your manifesting power, your prayer power. Your prayer power is now increased. Means that now that when you pray, when you ask for something, you will have much more chances of getting it. Why? Because you got no negativities in your mind. Because when you have fought with somebody and you have something going on with your neighbor, with your friend, or someone in your relatives, you have that negativity in your head. You keep thinking, oh, that guy did wrong to me, and she did wrong to me, and she said that to me. So you keep going back to that memory. That's becoming a stumbling block for you. That's why when Jesus said, go to them and remove that, reconcile this, in other words, forgive them, then you have removed it completely. Now you're clean. Now when you're trying to manifest and bring in your prayer desire, it will come to you easier because there's no stumbling block. It says, but if he will not hear you, then take with you one or two more. Then in the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word may be established. Now, here is something. There's mystical speech over here as well. There's mystical and there's real. Here it says, moreover, if your brother shall trespass against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. If he shall hear you, you have gained your brother. But if he will not hear you, then take with you one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word shall be established. Now I have a footnote over here, footnote 10, and let me just see. It says, gained him from the worldly ways to the Torah ways. Okay, so there is something else mystical, and we'll do a mystical analysis of this. Moreover, if your brother shall trespass against you, but if he will not hear you, then take two or more. Okay, what does that mean? Let me give you the mystical part of it. The mystical part is this, that you want to get a desire. Your brother here is simply your desire. And we could even say the brother is your subconscious, the one that fulfills the desire, the one that connects to God. So, if your brother shall not hear you, means that you are doing something, affirmation, visualization, maybe script, something, and your desire is not coming to pass. Then it's saying that take two or three people, meaning that two or three of you, meaning that it's a group, like a group prayer session. So you have two people or three people, you say, hey, I have this desire, but I'm finding it hard to bring it to pass. Can you help me? Can you help me if you visualize with me, or if you do the affirmation with me, or if you do the script with me, then I believe it will come faster. That's what he's saying. He's saying that if you write it down and two or three people write the same thing with you on your behalf, it will come faster. That's basically the mystical side of it. It will happen quickly and you'll get your desire. So there's something else in there. I'll come back to that. If we shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the congregation. See, now a bigger group. But if he neglects to hear the congregation, let him be to you as a gentle and taxation. And this is actually an allegory. This is not a real thing, by the way. This is an allegory. He's not telling you to push people out. No, the whole thing is allegorical. The whole thing is mystical. and you're to treat it a mystically way. Then it says to you in verse 18, verily I say to you, whatever you shall bind on earth shall be bound in Shemaim, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loose on earth. Again, this is like you doing it in a group, or you're doing it by yourself. Whatever you bind means that whatever you're calling for, your desire, it will happen. That's all that means. Whatever desire you're calling for, it will happen. But he's saying that if you do it in a group, it'll be much more powerful, it'll be much more easier. But if you don't do it in a group, and it goes on, then point out verse 19. Again I say to you that if two of you shall agree on earth, two of you agree on earth concerning anything that which you shall ask, it shall be done for them on my Abba which is in Shemaim. So this now speaks about not only your brother that you offended, in other words, negativities that you're holding that preventing your desire. Now he's talking about the two of you. Who's the two of you? Your conscious, subconscious, your heart, your brain. You can't have your brain saying yes and your heart saying no, because who's going to win? Your heart's going to win. So two of you agreeing together, conscious, subconscious, agreeing together, boom, you got your desire. If you have 3 or 4 people with you, they're using their power, boom, you got your desire. That is what Jesus is teaching over here. The Master is not teaching you to shun people away and put them out. Not teaching that. That's unfortunately, that's how Christianity took it and taught the wrong teachings and the wrong doctrines. That's not what is being taught over here. Where it says, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I'm in midst of them. Where? Well, if you got a group of people gathered together asking for the same thing, same prayer, Jesus is there. Yeshua is there. God is there. So this is why it's important that you see this as a mystical scene. This is not a literal scene. This is a mystical scene. Now, just to give you an example, let me give you another example of manifestation. And this is, some people swear by this, that this comes true. You take a glass of water or your bottle of water, you open up your bottle of water and you speak your affirmation into it, like maybe you're looking for a job. And you're going to say, I have my job, I have my dream job. I've got my dream job. And I'm getting paid over $100,000 salary. After saying that, the most powerful way is to whisper it. I've got my dream job. I've got my dream job, and I'm getting paid over $100,000. I'm making $100,000 a week. Okay, so you whisper it in there. You whisper it that other people in the other rooms don't hear you. In the water that you're drinking every day, whether that be a glass or a bottle, and then you drink that water. I read of many people swearing that works for them, that they ask for their desire in the water and the water works for them. And people point to Dr. Emoto and his experiments that they were done, that how water can hold memory, and water crystals. If you open a glass of, if you hold a glass of water, whenever you drink it, you say, I bless you in the name of God. Thank you. I bless you in the name of God. Thank you, thank you. And then you drink it. If you bless the water before you drink it, or you speak your affirmation into it, it will come to pass. Why? Because that water will take shape. The crystals will take shape according to your desire, and they will help you attain your desire. Many people swear by this, and here is something else I'm going to teach you. You take, men and women, both. This applies to both men and women. You take your wallet, you open your wallet, and you say to the money in your wallet, I bless you. I bless you. Go forth and multiply and return unto me. I bless you in the name of God. Go forth and multiply and return unto me. And then you put your wallet down. Say that every day. You will start seeing that the money in your wallet will start to increase. It will start to circulate and come back to you. So that's another way that you can help your situation grow. You can grow grow your whatever situation you have into a better situation. These are little techniques that are taught, but unfortunately many people don't do them, so they don't benefit. Then there is people, there in verse 22 or verse 21, Peter asks Jesus, he says, Rabbi, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Until 7 times? And then Yeshua said to him, I say not to you until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Therefore is the kingdom of Shamayim is likened to a certain king, which would take account of his servants. When he had begun to reckon, one was brought to him, which owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he had not to pay, his master commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and petitioned him, saying, Master, have patience with me, and I will pay you all. Then the master of that servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. So, here Jesus is teaching that forgiveness has a lot of power. It's very powerful. When you forgive somebody, it adds power to you. Sure, the other person might have done you really wrong and you hate him for that, but you have to let go of the hatred, and you have to accept that you learned something from that experience. You have to accept that, okay, I learned something from that experience, I'm grateful, and now I let go and I forgive him, her or him. I forgive him or I forgive her. Then your power will multiply in you, because you're a generator of power. Then you can start to manifest your desires faster. So it's important that don't just treat this as little things. They're not little things. They are big things, but you need to know how to operate in these big things. They will help you a lot. They will be they'll be blessing to you if you do them correctly. So make a habit. Make a habit of every day blessing your wallet. Make a habit of blessing your water every day. And put your affirmation in the water before you drink it. It might even be a cup of coffee. Do the same. Water is, coffee also has water, or tea. Speak your blessings into the tea and then drink it. Into the coffee and then drink it. Into your water bottle, into your glass of water, then drink it. Then you can start to see the power that it will be. Much can be said. I don't want to just ramble on things that matter little. But I'm going to end the lecture here. But also at the end, I'm going to say there is a widow that we support, and there's only one family that we support here. So if those of you who can assist, please do so. I do need about $100 to buy her groceries. Okay, so thank you for listening. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath. Take care. Shabbat Shalom to you.